about that. As
Yeah.
time Matters takes out one of the advertising boards.
I'm just looking here further down the order. Speed Queen is getting closer to Single Cab, who in turn I think is getting closer to Iola, so there could be 2 freeway battles at the front soon.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I mean, Iola himself isn't too far away from the leading path. They will be pulling away, I think.
Bennyville, yeah, I was about to say Bennyville was swerving at the back. I was wondering what was going on then. He's called it a day. Jamie's currently 7th, but nowhere near Speed Queen, so he's got a lot of catching up to do. Is it just me, or is our boy not closing in with the same amount as he was before?
No, he doesn't seem to be. Now that they've stopped battling and we're just following each other, he doesn't seem to be able to catch up with him.
Yeah. I mean, the tyres should be good for another 2-3 laps, but you never know with that locking up. Just as I say that, I think he just did in the background.
Yeah, it is very easy to lock up into that corner, but it's not something you want to do if you lap.
No, it's not gonna help your tyres at all.
For some reason I'm getting the engineer talking to me even though I'm not in the car.
Yeah, I had that last week. Our Turner's got really close to Hartman again. Oh, and that's why. Hartman's gone.
Oh, that's a shame. That's a big shame.
I thought something had gone off there, like with Hartman's car that was still running.
That could have been a very enjoyable battle, but
yeah, I don't know if that's a connection problem or not, but yeah. Now it means there's just a Red Bull and a Toro Rosso up front, our Turner and our boy.
Red Bull obviously enjoying this race.
Yeah, not often they enjoy Bahrain. We've usually been so reliant on straight line speed.
The inside of Iola into turn 1.
Oh, what's this? This is for Speed Queen, already up to P3. That is menacing. That is a menacing, because she was behind both of those just less than a lap ago, and she's dismissed them with ease.
I'd like to think that a tyre wear is going to be so much better just because of the driving style.
Yeah, I think on previous games that wouldn't usually happen, but on this game it does seem to impact your driving style. Does seem to impact the way your tyres go, which is a really good thing your co-masters have done.
We should look up ever so slightly into that corner. Although he's slightly closer to our Turner.
Yeah, not steaming up behind him though, and Speed Queen's not a million miles away.
No, this could be. She could still win this race, despite being down to P8 at one point.
And then we've still got Jamie, of course, who probably might have to change strategies now to try and get back in the race.
Yeah, it'll be 3 and a 4-star.
Well, the pace he was doing suggests he's not after tyre conservation. I almost said tyre conversation then.
But if he keeps doing that pace, it won't really matter.
No, no, he could just make stops. So he wants us. Our boy comes into the pits. As expected, the Toro Rosso's not running as long as a lot of others. Having said that, Speed Queen's pitting as well.
I did think for a second he was going to drive at the inside of
Speed Queen pitting, that's a bit of a surprise. What's the thinking behind that? I mean, maybe the tyres were gone. She's gone into another set of options. I'm not sure what our boy's gone on to. Jamie's just overtaken both of them, actually. Yeah. So Jamie's ahead of both of them now, but you'd imagine he'd have a stop extra to make, but if he keeps doing the pace he was doing earlier, then it might not matter.
Yeah, Jamie's quite far ahead of them.
And this leaves the current Red Bull 1-2. And there's a yellow flag out. What's happened? Someone gone off the track? No, not seen anything. Don't know what that was for. Is our boy on the options as well?
Yeah, they're both on the option tyres.
Interesting. So we're going to run primes later on. I'm not going to look at what Jamie's on, because you'd imagine he's on the options at that pace.
Yeah, I have a feeling that they're both going to be going for 3 stops this race.
Yeah, it looks. Oh, there's something going on ahead of our boy. Is it Jamie passing Iola?
It is indeed.
It is.
Already ahead.
Up to P2.
And Now you're going to be chasing down our Turner for the lead of the race. Although our Turner died.
Iola's gone wide. And our boy's right onto the back of Iola here. I wonder if there'll be any team orders at Toro Rosso.
Our Turner pits from the lead for another set of options.
Jamie's pitting. So Jamie pits for a second time.
Iola also pits.
Which means our boy, I believe, does he take the lead?
He does.
He does indeed, yeah.
The Corsair back in the lead of the race. Our Turner will be going in second place.
Yeah, that's good from that. And Speed Queen's up to third, but she's not particularly close. It feels like she's lost some time.
Might have made a mistake.
Yeah.
Or
and Jamie's come out in fourth, just had a single cab, which is really important for him because didn't want to be held up by the Mercedes. Yep, prime tyres for Jamie.
Whether he's going to go for 2 prime stints and that'll be it, I don't know.
Be a big say, 11 laps on both sets of tyres with what looks like a bit of a tyre chewing strategy of Speed.
Yeah, he might struggle with that.
And then, as I say that, he's locking up again.
They seem like very strategic race at the moment.
Yeah, it seems like everyone's on their own strategy and it's going to be interesting how everything plays out. Our Turner's on the option tyre as well.
Really any battles going on.
Looking down the field, let's see if we've got anything. Single cabs behind Jamie still.
Yeah, he's on option tyres, so he also runs wide. Jamie will either drive into the distance or cab might try and overtake.
Right, as there's no battles at the moment, I'll for the sake of the person commenting in the chat, he's asking some real life Formula 1 questions here.
Okay.
Will Mercedes be dominant in 2016?
I think yes, they will. Ferrari will catch up a little bit more. We're going to have to wait until 2017 before we get a new car who's ready to compete properly for the championship.
I think I'd agree with pretty much that, to be honest. It's difficult to see where the competition is going to come from. Maybe Ferrari, but I can't see them closing the gap down that much over such a short time.
Maybe on tracks that are like less sort of engine dominant, like obviously Singapore, the drivers are very quick. Hungary is another one, but I can't see them competing a track like Monza or Austria.
Yeah, the biggest danger for Mercedes is Rosberg upping his game dramatically, because then you could have the Hamilton-Alonso situation back in 2007 where Raikkonen stole the championship because 2 teammates were too busy fighting each other.
Yeah, we don't want like repeated incidents of Belgium in 2014.
No, definitely not. I mean, trouble is, the more they collide as well, I mean, Toto Wolff can then enforce team orders and have a good reason to do it, really.
Yeah, that's not what we want to see either for the racing.
Definitely not.
Any more questions?
We have, in regards to this race, if every driver was put in a Merc, actually I don't know if that's relevant to this race or real life, so we can answer it for both, I guess. If every driver was put in a Merc, who would win?
Well, I think Speed Queen would win in this race. In real life, Alonso.
That's I think Artman's joined again, but he won't be able to join in the race anymore, which is a shame.
Yep.
There's a pit stop for Force Indy here down in, well, was 9th, it's now 10th. Oz Limas is the only person out of points, so the 2 Force Indy is struggling at the moment. Top 4 kind of spread out at the moment. In regards to the question that was asked about who would win, I think in this it would be between the 2 Toro Rossos and Speed Queen. In regards to real life, I might be a bit biased here because I'm a Hamilton fan, but I would say Hamilton.
I personally think Alonso's the quickest driver in the field over the race distance.
I think the only problem is we're saying like something like if you put every person in a Merc, well, Hamilton's more used to the Merc than the other drivers.
Yeah, I think it's more as if they were on a level playing field.
Yeah, iMakers has just left the session unfortunately. I think he was running in around 8th place.
Yeah, he's going to pick up a couple of points. That means everyone who's currently racing is going to pick up a point.
Which is always a nice consolation to have. I mean, if you're running around at the back, you know, it's something to keep you motivated. And the last question we've got, thanks to 15 James T for these questions. When do you think an F1 driver will win Le Mans this year, like Nico did last year?
I'm not sure. I don't really keep up with them on that much, but I'd like to think they would. I think, I might correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Hulkenberg's competing in it this year either, is he? Because it clashes with an F1 weekend. I haven't heard anything about it. Didn't Webber win it a few years ago as well?
I think he might have done. I'm not sure. The only thing I remember with Mark Webber in Le Mans was that huge crash he had back in his early career when it flew into the air, which was a very scary crash.
And didn't give us another similar one, I
think. Yeah, they're scary when things like that happen.
There's still no battling going on, so you see.
Yeah, we're doing our best. At the moment, there's not an awful lot to say, but it's. I think it's going to get closer later on because there's going to be a lot of different strategies. The one to watch out for me is Jamie, because we're not entirely sure yet what his strategy is, because it got thrown out of sync with that loss of front wing at the start.
Just give you a rundown of the field. It's our boy who's currently leading the race, followed by Arthur and then the Red Bull, Speed Queen in the Sauber, Jamie in the Toro Rosso, single cab in Mercedes in 5th place, Iola in 6th in the Red Bull, Jamie Bear 6th and Scooby with Ferrari is in 7th place, Jockey Fair in 8th, X-Tam Man in 9th, and Osterlinus rounds out the top 10.
Yep, and with DNFs, Bennyville, iMakers and Artman. We're just coming up to half distance in this race. I imagine pit stops are not too far away.
Jamie Bear just come up the pits for a set of option tyres.
Rejoins in 8th place.
Iola locks up heavily.
Yeah, you don't want to flat spot the tyres if you can avoid it.
Well, it doesn't really happen in this game, but you don't want to wreck the way, I suppose.
Yeah, that'd be another good introduction. Having flat spots.
Controller you driving along.
Oh, it's an interesting one. Looking at the gaps, just seeing. Our Turner's, I've got to say, it's credit to our Turner, he's doing a very, very good job. He hasn't drifted away from the front like I thought he would.
Yeah, and at the same time, nobody's closing up to him. Nobody's closing up to anyone really. It's all spread out.
Yeah, it's there's kind of decent gaps between everyone. The important thing is you don't make a big mistake. It's easy when you're in this situation to lose concentration and then bam, your front wing could be gone.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there's a lot of run off the far end, but it's still quite easy to do. There's a couple of auto spin curves as well, you need to be careful of.
Yeah, it's not as bad as the old game, one of the old games used to be. I think it was 2012, which was a real bad game for that, at this track.
2012 and 2013 actually. The end of the second DRS where you get spun off.
Yeah,
the wall,
just following our boy, and he had a bit of a moment on a curve then actually, just to kind of prove my point really. It's definitely risky at times to do that.
Yeah, according to my screen, our Turner is 14.8 seconds behind our boy, so
that's kind of weird because I've got the gap as 8.4.
I'd rather have your gap than mine, to be honest with you.
I think